What's up, everybody? Let's be clear, we don't bring the smoke. We got my dude here, though, man. Dr. Jamal, Bryant, man. Always dope to have him in the house, man. Man, how you feeling, my
Man,
dude?
great. Glad to be with you.
Man, I'm glad you here, man. But, man, seriously, man, your podcast is flipping on fire, bro. And you had 2 million views, man?
Listen, it's amazing. In 8 weeks.
8 weeks?
In 8 weeks.
Dude, man, how you get that many followers that quick, son?
I don't know. The miracle is I was only doing it on my website, jamalbryant.org.
Yeah, I saw that.
It got so much traction, YouTube asked us to come and bring it.
What,
Because they were getting so many search requests.
Wow.
Trying to find it. So they tracked us down. So we just started on YouTube last Friday.
Man, dude, y'all heard that? YouTube tracked this joker down. I'm gonna be struggling to get my paperwork so I can make my little money. They didn't told it.
Listen, well, I haven't got no check yet.
What?
No, I just started Friday.
Oh yeah, okay, but it's coming then. Like, hold on,
yeah,
man.
prophesy.
We do got a lawyer over there now.
Oh, yeah.
If they ain't give you money, that's an entertainment lawyer over there now. So, God, dog, 2 million views, man. With that comes hate, man. So I got people, man. I got like 5 emails, son.
Yeah.
2 of them from the same person. So I do. So what I got 4 emails, 1, 2, 3. I got 4 emails then. Cause one of them sent them twice. Man, you got Jamal coming, man. I used to watch you on the Word Network. I ain't watch you no more. He ain't no man of God, blah, 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 man. I'm like, dude, the way God blessing him, how can you even say that? Now, I blocked them after that, so I don't even know what their response is, but I did send a message back since they sent it to me twice, man. But how you handle the hate, bro?
2 million views and you talking about one.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't even focus it. It is the problem that a lot of us have is that 10 people can walk into this restaurant and say, Pastor Maxwell, I love that white boss sweatsuit you got on.
Yeah.
One person will walk in and say, why do you have that on?
Yeah.
You're going to leave here thinking about that one person.
Whoa.
And not the 9 that affirmed it.
Right.
Our minds are wired towards the negative. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to function, wouldn't be able to flow. So my sister, who is a therapist, said something to me that healed me years ago. She said, never argue with somebody online who has less followers than you.
Exactly.
Because it's going to distract you.
Exactly.
So if I spent all of that energy, I'd be lost. You know, the poet says monuments are never built for critics.
Wow.
So you've got to, move beyond it.
Man.
Yeah.
You know what that made me think about King, man, when he wrote that letter from the Birmingham jail. He told the preachers, normally I don't even address people that hate on me or whatnot because my staff would be over inundated and wouldn't be have time to answer. Right. But because I feel like you of goodwill, I'm gonna go ahead and answer this, man. This the smooth way of answering, man. You killing the game, bro. I mean, I hate to say it like that because it's like I hate to even say it's a game. It's not a game, but man, you're killing the game.
I
had this old man get upset, one of my members, because the dude said, man, I'm doing this preaching game, man, and I'm hope I do good. And so he sent me a message and said, man, it's not a game. Why he said a game? I said, really what he's saying. He's sending a distress signal to me. He's saying, I can't believe Maxwell got me on this platform.
Right.
He give me this opportunity. I don't want to mess up. But if I do mess up, just know I'm humble. Right. He said, oh, man, get it like that. So it's like so many times the context of it all.
Right. So the same guy who sent you the email still reads the book of Psalms. So he affirms David as a murderer more than me as an adulterer.
Yes.
Yeah. So you got to figure out, you pick and choose what it is that you want. Mm. Yeah, perfection only comes in Christ. All of us are striving.
All striving.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's what I'm talking about, man. This dude, he's so deep, man. It'd be hard to even keep going after that, man. Yeah. But look, man, this your 5th year over at New Birth, man. I mean, how does it feel? Because first of all, you big, man. Bishop was big, you big. I know a lot of us, we got our ego problems. I mean, do you sometimes feel like you was in the shadow of Bishop, or you good with all that?
Every day. Yeah, humility is not one of my gifts of the Spirit. Yeah. Yeah, so I have to, with intention. Number one, I'm a founder. I've never been a successor. Ooh, yeah. So it's a different mind frame having to acknowledge somebody who went before you. To walk in that building and know that somebody set up a legacy for you is awe-inspiring. No matter what it is that I have been able to accomplish, it pales in comparison to what Bishop Long did. I'm looking forward to Easter. I'm looking forward to it.
Wow.
Bishop Long was in the stadium.
Yes.
I'm hoping to fill the church on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, so
Yes,
that's really the humility of knowing that all the gifts is not reserved for one person.
Wow. Yeah, they did. They used to be at the stadium, man. Yeah, that dude too, man. But you still, man, we humble. I mean, you have more people on Tuesday in the week than some people have on Sundays. Hell, on Sundays and Tuesdays. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. But just when you went there, man, I don't know why I'm on this, but when you went there, a lot of bishops, a couple of bishops.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna say it was a lot of folk from AME, but just I ain't gonna say people's name, but two significant bishops called me and said what I thought about you going and leaving. They were upset.
Yeah.
They were like, well, I don't even know why his daddy let him go.
Right.
They were tripping. But I was like, dude.
Well, I say to a lot of people, it would be equivalent to Bishop Charles Blake's son taking Paul Morton's church. Is everybody in Kojic would have been like, what are you doing? Yeah, my dad was the senior bishop of the AME church. And the way that it handled, he retired 1 year before I went to New Birth. So it's like, oh, now that your father gone, you leaving us? Yeah. But I'm grateful. It's the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Look at you. On camera. Look at that, boy.
Thank you.
I look like I got somebody on it.
You are somebody.
Do you have any honey?
Absolutely.
Can I have some? Thank you.
Man, look at that, man. Y'all let me look raggedy, man. Thank you, James River Country Club. I appreciate you. But but wow, because I was like, dude, him leaving
Yeah.
the AME of Baltimore
Yeah.
to go to Atlanta. First of all, I ain't saying you was in the hood, but you weren't in the suburbs. You know what I'm saying?
No, I was in the hood. I'll
Cool.
take it.
I'll let you say
Yeah.
so. He in the hood. Now
Yeah.
you done left the hood to go to the richest black county in Atlanta.
Yes.
All right? So you go from the hood to the richest black county. Now, then you taking over Bishop Long, who was second on flipping TBN to the nice guy.
Joel Osteen.
Everybody, Joe Osteen, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, Joe. And he was so he was right with him. Right? Then he in the flipping epicenter of the world, son. Do you know you can get a direct flight anywhere in the flipping world from Atlanta? Ain't no connected. The reason why I don't go a lot of places, because I know I probably ain't gonna get back in time to go to church. Because I gotta catch 2-3 flights to go get. But well, in Atlanta, that's the epicenter, the busiest airport in the world.
Yeah.
Some of the richest black people in the world. Dude, man. So I was like, dude, that's a no-brainer. You know what they stopped calling me? They ain't called me to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back to the reality is what nobody talks about. The National Enquirer sells 3 times as many copies as the New York Times. So people like bad news.
I got you.
Yeah, they love, so because you wouldn't collaborate on the story,
Got you.
yeah, you were reeking of too much positivity. Yeah, so they had to go you brought them in the full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got you. It makes sense. They definitely was not pleased, but definitely, man, you definitely doing your thing, man, just for you to even come here, man. I appreciate it, man.
No, I'm grateful.
Every year you here uplifting us, giving us a word, man. I mean, what I realized is some of my followers, I was telling you this on the way up here, like, man, Jamal sound different. He don't sound the same as he sound this other. First of all, you evolve because you read a lot. Right. But I was letting him know you can't put him in a box. He can go different places. So when you do your sermons, what inspired, because you know you do a lot of current events, but how do you, for a young preacher out there, how do you get your sermons together?
Yeah,
How
you had E. Dewey this month?
Not this time. He'll be here in July.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I lectured at Morehouse, and I told them E. Dewey Smith is an architect. I'm an artist. So E. Dewey is going to follow the structure of preaching,
Yes.
the principles of homiletics. I'm throwing paint on the canvas. Yeah. So when I was at Duke,
Ooh, that's dope.
when I was at Duke, I preached my senior sermon. I was in the last class of Samuel DeWitt Proctor before he died. And when I finished preaching, he jumped up and he said, "Jamal, I want to fail you." Listen to it. He said, "I want to fail you because you break all the rules, but you make the point." And so really, in my other life, I was probably a spoken word artist, where Dewey wants to be a philosopher.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm not going to tell you how far Macedonia is from Jerusalem. I'm not going to give you any Greek. Yeah, I mean, Picasso said, "You can only break the rules when you know them." You understand? So if you know what is the science, then you have the space to be able to do it.
I like the way he said it. You see how he did that? That Negro smooth. Basically, he let you know. Let me say how he do though. Cause he still structured it. He just do it how he want to do. He just let you know, I was at Duke, right? The last class of Sammy DeWitt Proctor, who got a school named here, by the way.
Yeah.
He said Duke, right? So you already know he educated, right? So he let you know, I know the rules. I just go outside the rules. But that's how it is. You can't, like, that's why I tell some of my agents, they like, well, how do you say this and how do you do this and how you go over here and do this? You told me to go by this script.
Yeah.
You can't go from the script until you know the script.
Right.
Because this was gonna get you your listing. And once you know the fundamentals, the layups and the pre-shot drills, then you can go around and do your Jordan shots or whatever. But I like that, man. So the thing about it, he went to school. I remember one time you interviewed with somebody said, you did good, man. You was humble that day. It was years ago,
Listen,
man.
God is working.
It was years ago though. And that was probably one of your highest arrogant sides. But you was humble that day. The dude said, hey, because the dude was trying to be deep, and he asked you, did you go to school? You said, did I go to school? And then you kind of held back. You know what I'm talking about? You kind of held back. I was like, oh, dude, he about to kill him. I had everybody by the TV. I was like, oh, man, he didn't go in. So I apologize for being that energy that sometimes might have kept you going in the non-humility way. I was just waiting on you to destroy this guy.
Yeah, you got to understand we're in a culture where ignorance is sexy. The less you know, the more you're celebrated. The data has come back, Maxwell, that the average supporter of Donald Trump has a 7th grade reading level.
Funny thing is, we already knew that. But go ahead.
But Donald Trump has an MBA. So people try to think that he's stupid.
Yeah.
When he did an exhaustive study of the demographics of America. So when Trump ran against Hillary Clinton, your light bulb's gonna go off. Nobody in America thought Trump was smarter than Hillary. Nobody thought he had more experience. All of the polls came back, she was more relatable. So a lot of our preachers want to be so impressive that they went to Virginia Union, that they went to ITC, that they're not relatable. And so the people in the balcony don't know what it is that they're saying because they preaching to the first 2 rows. That's why Jesus understood in public, he only preached in parables. When he got to the disciples, he explained what it meant.
Right.
Because he said, I gotta give it to people at the place of where it is that they are. Yeah. And I think that that's what effective preaching is about. Nobody wants to deal with the fact that the most listened to preachers in America, T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen, are the most listened to preachers in America, have no MDiv. But they are effective communicators.
All day.
Yeah. So you got to figure, Howard Thurman said, with head and heart. And a lot of us are choosing one. We either want people to think or we want them to feel. But we never want to bring both of those together.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. See, I like when you talk about, because I always say to do the balance. That's what I try to tell my ministers. You got to have that balance because you got to hit the emotion. You want to hit the cranium, the mind as well. But man, dude, you killing the guy. I didn't even know we were going with this, man. But I had a young preacher struggling about crafting his sermon. I was like, man, be you. You got the outline and everything, but sometimes people try to be somebody else.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, my first year I was Jamal. I'm gonna tell y'all this. I met him. Remember, we saw him over there. I said, hey man, we got offended by you a little bit though, because he said, hey, come and see me on the fifth Sunday. Negro, I go to church every Sunday. What you talking about? So, but anyway, I said, hey man, I can preach your World War Me book. He was like, sure, man, go ahead. So my first year here, I probably owe you some honorarium.
You do, not probably.
I do.
You have it on camera. It is official. Yes. Yes.
This outtake,
Yes,
man.
yes.
This just a blooper. Hey, so anyway, I got the World War Me book, the first one. I think I preached the second one too. Yeah, I do owe you an honorarium, man.
Man, you can handle it tonight.
I handle it, man. I didn't give you something when I was in Atlanta one day. I give you the other half. Maybe that's what it was. I think I'll give you the honorarium. But anyway, my first year here, man, I preached World War Me, right? I was like, hey, man, I'm going to do the book. He said, I don't care. Go ahead, man. I preached every chapter, right? Because I'm like, I only had preached like, 2-3 times a year. Now I got to preach 52 Sundays and 52 Wednesdays. Boy, I changed it to Tuesdays. I'm like, man, shoot, I was struggling. You hear me? Struggling. So then I said, man, cool, man. So, man, and the funny thing about it is the book that he was going was really, I was getting psychotherapy, man. Dude was really counseling me because you was going through whatever you were going through. Yeah. And when I was doing it, people were like, man, they ain't even do that. Like, you were clipping off people in my church. They were getting offended. And they were thinking I was writing sermons talking about them.
Right.
And I'm like, Negro, I ain't tell them. I couldn't say, Negro, I'm preaching this Negro book.
And that's how, yeah. No, that's how you know that you're authentically preaching, because the gospel is offensive. I tell the members of New Birth, if I don't offend you once a quarter, you're not I'm not preaching. And I think too many of our churches have become massage parlors and not chiropractic offices. Yeah, so my responsibility is not to make you feel good, it's to straighten you out. And if I'm not straightening out your vertebrae, then I got to really look at what am I really doing here? You got to understand that they wanted to kill Jesus because of what he preached. They killed Dr. King because of what he preached. And too many of us are liked. Yeah, I want to preach so that the governor tells the staff, don't let me in. Yeah? I don't want to be a friend of the mayor.
Right.
Yeah, I want to be able to speak truth to power until it's like, oh no, he's coming. How do I avoid him? And I think that the real essence of what the gospel is somebody in that church is going to have to get a stray bullet. Yeah. And by virtue of the fact that they took it personal means that you did your job well.
Exactly. All day. All day. Exactly. Because oh my God, that's rich right there, ain't it? Man, if I had an organ, I'd play it for you. My God, that joker preaching right now, man. Look, man, I'm like, dude, first of all, man, again, man, I just appreciate you being here, man. And I didn't even know where I was gonna go with this interview, but I knew, just the flow was gonna be well. So both of us were at the conference. I know many people ask me, why you going to Jay's conference? Why you going here? Why you going there? The scandal. I'm like, dude, you know how much stuff on the internet about me a lie? Like, I mean, I ain't saying nobody innocent, ain't saying nobody guilty. I don't know what people do. I just know, like you said, we all fall short. What made you continue to still go? Because your name is already, big anyway. Yeah. What made you like, you know what? I ain't stressing this. I'm going to go out to this conference anyway.
I wanted to know why a bank felt comfortable giving a black preacher $1 billion. Yeah, with no MBA. Really? Yeah, I wanted to know how do you maximize the reality of like them or not, love them or not. You can't argue with success. And you got a grade on a curve. How do you find that much success in a place you're not from? It would have been more palatable if this was in West Virginia.
Right.
You went to a whole nother place 1,500 miles away and still did well.
Relocated.
Yeah, so I wanted to see how do you manage that, and how are you able to soar while people sit on your wings? It's easy to do all of that with no pressure,
Yeah.
with no scandal. But to be able to move under whispers requires a different level of strength. One of my favorite bishops in the Church of God in Christ, Bishop Luther Blackwell, said preachers are the last people to believe what they preach. They believe it for other people, but don't for themselves. So for you to get up on Sunday and say, oh, don't worry about when people talk about you. Oh, they're going to scandalize your name.
Yeah.
I've been talked about, mistreated.
Yeah.
But when it becomes you, people want to see, will you live out what it is that you're preaching?
Wow.
And he was able to do that effectively.
Yeah, that's awesome,
Yeah.
man. Exactly. It was crazy. And I believe sometimes you got to have resistance. Back in 9/11, when 9/11 happened, you and Bishop Jakes and all y'all probably like, man, they ain't gonna risk my life to get on a plane. And they were calling me, you know what I'm saying? I was the man at 9/11 because wasn't nobody wanted to fly. Like, if I get over here and fly and die, I'm going to heaven. So anyway, I was going everywhere preaching. And so I'm flying out from Atlanta. The pilots say, hey, we got too much of a tailwind. We're gonna have to turn and go north instead of south because we got too much of a tailwind and the plane too heavy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm in that nervous, like, what in the world are you talking about, man? You've turned the plane. Is terrorists on this plane? That's what I'm thinking. Like, what's going on? Because it didn't sound right to me. But no, the thing about it was because we was in one of the big jets, the wind going the same way as the jet was not helping lift it off the ground quick enough. So it had to go into the wind. And sometimes you got to have that resistance because your enemies become your stepping stool. You understand? So sometimes that resistance keeps you on your knees. That resistance keeps you rooted. That resistance keeps you, I call them, what you call them? You just call maybe monitor for quality assurance.
Yeah.
When you know people watching you and you know they coming against you, it tends to make you be more polished. It tends to make you be more strong because you know somebody looking at you, you know somebody watching you, you know they coming to kill you. So I think a lot of times when we go through those particular moments like a Jake's or whatnot, it definitely brings us to be more focused because we understand that we can't do this without God on our side. And I look at Jake's without the what Jake's is though, man, I'm gonna tell you, Jake's is gifted to be around. If you ever see him, he'll sit there, he'll listen to Cynthia James.
Yeah.
He'll listen to Jamal Bryant. He'll listen and he'll sit there. And then what he'll do is I can see his mind work. He'll sit there and he'll dissect it and then he'll take it in and boom, spit it out his own way. He'll sit up there and summarize everything. I think a lot of time we worry about going to school and things and don't understand how to be an apprentice and sit up under somebody else.
Yeah.
Like there's no way somebody hanging around you or sitting up under you, there's no way that they shouldn't receive an education equivalent to Howard or Yale University because they sitting at your feet learning. But a lot of times people don't want to sit up there and take that time and be around people. And I just look at Jake's, he knows how to hang around people. He had that guy when he had that whatever the business he was using to help mentor us. And he had talked to some guy that ran a bank. Jake's a fine. If he got a coffee shop, he'll go find a daggone Starbucks manager. If he want a bank, he'll go find somebody that was at Wells Fargo. He'll go make sure he find the best of the best and put them there and not intimidated by people being smart or more educated than himself. So I think that's how he really survives because he'll surround himself with people that know more than him, glean from them, take it, make it his own, and regurgitate it in his own way without having to go to school. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the reality is nobody gives credit that Malcolm X made Dr. King better.
Definitely did.
Because he had to argue why he wanted nonviolence. Prior to Malcolm X, he was just able to go unchallenged. You are not a champion without a challenger. The only way that you're able to really get a belt is to know that you had to fight for it. And so the greatness of King was Malcolm. The greatness of Jesse Jackson was Louis Farrakhan. Yeah. Yeah, so Farrakhan made him argue, why should black people vote? Very first time Farrakhan ever voted in his life was for Jesse Jackson. You understand? So you got to sharpen
Yes.
your iron and look at how you utilize the people who come against you.
Man, you said something right there.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times we think iron sharpens iron. We think it's somebody we hang around that's cool with us.
Yeah.
But sometimes the iron is somebody coming against you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That
Yeah.
Negro be preaching.
Yeah,
Though. That Negro gifted, man. You know what I'm saying? He gifted, ain't he? You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying.
Hey, boy, that way they hate on
Yeah,
him,
yeah,
boy.
yeah.
He getting resisted at all sides. My God, man. That dude. I ain't even think about it, but I know because Malcolm X did, what the good thing about it is Malcolm knew that. But when they came to talk to Coretta or whatever and say, look, and he came and told the South, if y'all don't give King what he want, we're going to come do it another way. So it made his voice palatable. And I think we as black people, we always continue, as I say, we continue to say, oh man, I can relate to Jamal because we both like Gucci. Or I can relate to Eugene, we both do use the camera. But when we start celebrating our differences, because our difference is really what makes us powerful. Because if you are the same as me, you only supplement me. But if you complement me, you help fill in my weaknesses. Yeah. And if you look at it, there's no way to win a football game with all Tom Brady's. No matter how great he is, you need a cornerback, you need a linebacker, you need a running back, you need all these different positions. You can't win with one position. And I remember in class, he was always trying to make us argue, do we need Malcolm or did we need Martin? And I would say both. And they would always look at me like I was crazy, but I couldn't articulate it as much as I wanted to. But you got to have more than one position. There's no way our people would have made it with just King. No way would have made it with just Malcolm X. In fact, when King went to Chicago, he said, my God, I ain't never seen this much violence before, because they were products of their environment. Your leadership is shaped by your environment because you begin to understand what your environment needs. And marching in the South and nonviolence in the South worked okay. But then you have the nuances of the North where they really weren't saying they didn't like you or whatever, but they were far more violent. You needed the fruit of Islam. You weren't going to make it up there, man. King said he ain't never been that scared in his life, but it's just awesome how even though they disagree, in the end, they began to come together. Then,
yeah, Bishop Walter Thomas gave me a principle years ago that I follow, and I want to invite those of you who are watching to do it, is that start following people on social media who you disagree with, who are ideologically on the other side of where you are. Because a lot of people listen to respond. They do not listen to learn. And so you got to learn your enemy. You got to figure out what is their pattern, what is their thought process, how it is that they are moving. And so be intentional to start following people who disagree with you, who you don't like, who irritate you, really, so that you're able to, it's the Art of War Volume 1, yes. You're going to have to study it.
Yeah. Dude, that's dope, because that was going to be one of my questions too. And you already answered it, man, which I knew it was going to be something like that, but I didn't know it was going to be that daggone dope. I was about to say why you had that Republican guy on the show, and I was like, I know I ain't watch it yet, but I was like, I know he going to.
I brought him on because there is a growing number of black men who are voting Republican. And if we just alienate them, they'll grow in silence. And so our responsibility is to rip the Band-Aid off and ask why. Yeah, I mean, we got to ask the critical questions that really put you in a prophetic mantle. Why in the world did they raid Diddy's house but not Trump's?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
Trump owes more money than Diddy does.
Right.
He got more charges. Diddy don't have no charges. But we just sit back and laugh and pass the memes and don't ask the critical questions. Yeah, so I think that is very important that you have to ask these questions and not be partial to the winds of Instagram and TikTok. But you got to be sober, knowing that there's got to be something else afoot.
Dude, that's a dope. Because I was thinking, is it just a distraction? Because they supposed to be doing this, the public wants somebody, just give them Diddy.
No, well, go a step further with no facts. Again, we don't have any charges. Donald Trump got 81. Tell me, really, tell me, what do you think the response would be for full-grown adults if Trump's kids was in handcuffs? We looking at it and don't say nothing. Yeah, ain't no charges on Justin. None. Put Donald Trump, put Ivanka in handcuffs and see how white America will respond to that. And so I think that sometimes we become so adjusted to the dysfunction of racism that we take it as normal. Yeah, they had no warrant for them boys, but you got them outside of that house and just let it go forward without anybody raising any questions is concerning for me.
Man, no charges.
Yeah.
Man, that just make you sit there and think. And I look at it, the timing of it all. You start fussing about Ciroc and your money, then all of a sudden they come at you with, stuff maybe you done, maybe you didn't do. I look at R. Kelly. Whether he messed with the women or not, at the end of the day, none of that stuff comes out until he say, hey man, y'all got unsanctioned music out here that I ain't sanctioned to be out here.
Man, so that's low-hanging fruit.
All day.
It's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
We can't get past January 6th.
Wow, come on, sir.
You talking about kickbacks from Sony Records.
Right.
I'm talking about democracy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's apples and oranges of what we talking about, and I'm not exonerating R. Kelly or Diddy. That's not what I'm saying at all.
I got you.
I'm saying to you, white privilege
Right.
is at a whole nother place. Can you imagine in your own personal, familial relationship with the legal justice system? Say your brother owed $450 million. You can't imagine a judge is saying, "Oh, let me reduce that to 150."
Yeah.
On no cause. Let me not just reduce it to 150. I'm gonna give your brother another 10 days to find it.
Wow.
No. So yeah, I don't want to deal with Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with the whole democracy of America was on trial, and we saw it happen.
Yes.
And now we acting like, oh no, he didn't mean it. Yeah, that's white privilege at a whole nother level.
And see, that's what I always say too, man, because you look at it, the scales of justice ain't even, they make sure it's unbalanced. They let you know it's one law for them and one law for us. But man, yeah, he's like, Negro,
If you had
Gotcha.
8 charges, not 81, if you had 8 charges,
Yeah.
you couldn't run for city council.
Wow.
Now forget the presidency. Let me go a step further. Imagine Obama had 8.
Wow.
No, this is unbelievable. We're seeing America operate at its lowest level when we keep trying to make it be at its highest good.
Let me ask you this. Do you think once they had Obama that it got worse because they felt like, wow, the fabric of our country, you had this African-American president.
Yeah.
So it's a threat. So I believe that's almost what made Donald Trump possible.
Oh, no, it's absolutely possible. You have to realize the greatest affront to Obama's presidency was a tan suit. That's what he did wrong.
And when he
Was
killed
wear a tan suit.
and when they killed that mosquito on the daggone TV, they went crazy about that too.
Yeah. Obama's success
Yes.
opened up the door for white fright to say, oh no, this is the end.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh no, I want to change my order. Yeah. Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, he absolutely, Obama produced Trump
Yeah.
because it was his success that really irritated the core of who they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a book that I want you to read called "If Obama Had a Son."
If Obama had a son, text that to me.
If Obama Had a Son is written by a gentleman by the name of Brandon Porter II. What would America have done to see young black boys in ties in private school? How would America responded seeing black boys sit with heads of nations? It would have changed the whole narrative of what it is that we see and how it is that we perceive. We have never had a first lady more vilified than Michelle Obama.
Right.
Yes.
So you had 2 different layers. White people didn't know what to do with it, and the Eurocentric values of black people who did not know how to see the beauty of dark-skinned women. Had to recalibrate. It would have been a whole
Reverend.
it would a whole nother thing if she looked like Elizabeth from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Right.
But the fact that she looked like our mother made us do a different kind of reckoning of what black beauty is. So for 4 years, for the very first time, for 8 years, they never said the first lady was beautiful. They said she's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because they couldn't handle what is the elegance of a dark-skinned black woman. And so we had to recalibrate and reframe what it looked like without giving the normal benchmarks of what we give to a first lady.
Man.
Yeah.
Dude, boy.
Yeah.
Man, this joker good, ain't it? Look, man. I know, right? All day. All day. Look, he told you he was a chiropractor, didn't he? He aligning you back. Crack, baby, crack it up. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and close out so we can eat, man. Just give them some last words, my brother.
Yeah, this election is going to be so critical, and it is going to show the health of the black church. Can we mobilize and mature? Because for the very first time, we have to vote for principles and not a personality. When black people riot, they go in the street. When white people riot, they go to the ballot box. So I want us in this election cycle to have a full-blown riot and show America that we're not pleased with not having a livable wage. We're not pleased with not having access to health care. We're not pleased with how it is that nobody's saying anything about Congo, nothing about Haiti. The only war is not taking place in Israel. We're not pleased on how many funds have been stolen from HBCUs. And the black church has a right and responsibility to challenge the system and to make sure that our votes really matter.
Man, amen. Man, I appreciate it, man. Again,
Thank you.
Let's be clear. Just bring the smoke. But Jamal has taken over. Anyway, see y'all next time, man. Appreciate it.